Hi, I'm Mayor Kim Driscoll, and glad to be joined by Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Bill Cameron, to talk a little bit about some of the current activities taking place in Salem Public Schools. As Mayor of the City of Salem, I also have the joy of chairing the school committee and really work together, I think, on a number of issues impacting the 4,600 public school students we have in Salem. So, Bill, I thought we could just talk about a couple of things that are underway, maybe just briefly on the strategic plan. It's certainly a document that we think is well worth renewing and setting a direction going forward for the Salem Public Schools. Can you talk briefly just where that's at and what we've been working on?
The strategic plan is actually quite a time-consuming project. It's involved focus group meetings with quite a number of constituents or elements of the city, senior citizens, Salem High School graduates, faculty members, parents. And out of the strategic plan process will come a number of action plans that will direct the school system in a number of areas over the next 5 years. The plan really focuses on building on the strengths that we already have and also on accentuating academic performance in the district. There are a number of other areas, community involvement and so forth, which will also receive special attention. But it's a valuable exercise. It gets a lot of people involved, and then it has to be used in order for this exercise to be worthwhile.
Agreed. We definitely don't want a plan that's going to sit on the shelf and be looked at, but something that's a real implementation area where we can focus on where we're putting our resources, how best to achieve student success. And I think it gives us an opportunity to be critical of what we're doing and see where we want to make changes going forward. So I'm glad it's underway. Certainly something that'll be wrapped up hopefully in the next few months and give us an opportunity to forge ahead with some of the initiatives that come out of it. When you think about vocational changes in the vocational school district that are going to impact Salem, some of our special ed population and the challenges we're going to have there, what's happening with federal legislation, there's a lot of balls in the air, and the strategic plan helps us kind of drill down and focus on areas that make the most sense for Salem.
Obviously, you can't foresee the future. Funding is a roller coaster, even in Salem. Funding is a roller coaster, enrollment issues, demographics. You can't see what 5 years out everything is going to be exactly, but this gives direction to what to the activities and the projects going on in the school district.
Great navigational tool. So one of the areas that we know we're going to need some attention are two school building repairs. Salem's been very fortunate that we have renovated nearly every school, either built new or renovated nearly every school within the district, but we have two problem properties, I guess I would rephrase them, the Saltonstall School and the Collins Middle School, which both have leaks. Although they were upgraded within the last 20 years, they've got some water infiltration issues. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the program there. There
are substantial physical problems in both of those schools. The biggest and most obvious one at both sites is water infiltration. We're working, as you know, with the Massachusetts School Building Authority to get renovations undertaken in the next, say, 18 months. That may be an optimistic time frame, but certainly we need to get this started as soon as we can to make those better facilities in which to run classes and other programs. Collins is the bigger project. It's the bigger building. It has more complicated issues. Anybody who's been by Collins, or certainly at least on the back side of the school, will realize that there are serious problems with the facade there that need to be addressed. And there are a lot of other issues as well at both schools that this will give us an opportunity to correct over the next couple of years.
I think for us, we're excited because it gives us a key partner to help with the funding under this Mass School Building Authority Green Repair Program, which I'm very grateful that state officials put in place a program that will help with some of these building envelope type issues. We know that it'll be fast-tracked, and we'll have a 78% partner. The city is expected to pick up 22% of the cost, while the state will pay 78% of the cost. We're in the first phase of that, where we'll be going out and assessing the problem and designing the actual plans to repair it. And Collins, for instance, how much do we pay a year just to rent staging to protect the exterior of the building?
It's around $25,000 a year. The staging's been up for years, so probably close to $200,000 has been spent just basically keeping the facade in place so it doesn't clobber somebody. So it's a serious problem, and this gives us an opportunity to fix it.
And neither of them have gotten better over the last few
Right.
years. So we've seen at Collins the roof damage even worse with the last storm. We know that water continuing to leak into the salt install is causing problems. So now we'll have an opportunity to analyze it, design some repairs, and then move forward with a program that hopefully will be affordable as well. Even 22% when you start kicking around some of the costs that we could be expected is not it's not small pocket change, that's for sure. But grateful to be moving those projects forward. This has been something that's really been ongoing for the better part of the last decade and needs some attention, and will certainly take some time from the school committee and principals to really focus on this issue as part of a building committee, but happy they're going forward. The other big project we've been working on, I think probably one of the initial Horace Mann charter schools in the state, is exactly that, our own in-district charter school focused on a population that we're currently struggling with in terms of students dropping out. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's exciting and gives us some opportunities to control our own destiny.
There are two types of charter schools under Massachusetts law. There are Horace Mann charter schools, which are run by the school district effectively or in cooperation with the school district. Much more common type of charter school is called a Commonwealth charter school. What we're looking to do is set up a Horace Mann charter school that would bring students who have already dropped out of school but who are still in a position to graduate from high school with the right programming, bring them back into school. We have a sizable number of kids every year who don't complete high school, and it creates issues certainly for the students. They have an enormous obstacle to overcome subsequently if they don't graduate from high school. And it will provide a great opportunity for the community to bring kids who otherwise might be alienated back into the mainstream in the community and get them on a productive path. So we're optimistic that this will be approved by the Board of Education, elementary and secondary education, in February, and that we'll be able to open in September.
And I think the most heartening part of this is a year ago we were facing a charter school proposal by a Commonwealth charter school who wanted to come in and set up shop and offer services, which would have meant that we would have lost state revenue that comes into the city for the school district, and we would have had another charter school operating. This allows us to set up our own charter school with our own resources. While it will still be another draw that we have to fund, it enables us to have some control over how we're spending those dollars. And frankly, we have some of those resources that I think can be brought to bear to help with an alternative population. We have alternative schools already. Maybe this can be an adjunct of those efforts aimed at reducing our dropout rate. Yeah,
the particularly valuable thing about this model that we're using is the way that it involves a broad range of community agencies and resources. We have social service agencies, we have state agencies such as the Department of Children and Families, we have law enforcement agencies involved. This has the support of the teachers union. This is a program that has broad community support, and I think for that reason it's more promising than some other models that we've seen are for working effectively with these students.
And we know what happens if we have students dropping out. You alluded to it earlier. They're still in the community. They're having a challenging time leading a productive life. And this gives us an opportunity to give folks a second chance who, for whatever reason, don't fall in the traditional high school model or can't fit within some of our existing alternative programs. And short of that, we would probably be looking at another charter school coming in and offering these services. But we certainly wouldn't be in control of the resources going there. We wouldn't be in control of the resources, and I think the coordination that we can work out with our own services, our special education department, our food services, we can make this a more streamlined operation that way, I think. Absolutely, good point. So I know we have a school committee meeting tonight. We'll be focusing on a number of agenda items, wrapping these things up. Certainly the 4,600 students that currently attend Salem Public Schools and their families are benefiting from a number of the programs we have underway. Going forward, to be looking at, I think, some very challenging budget years, but I, for one, am really glad that you're in the position you're on as superintendent. We've got a hardworking school committee who's really been charged with trying to pull together all of the necessary resources to make sure that education is still and remains the top priority in Salem. So thanks for being here and sharing with us some of the activities. Thank you very much, Kim.